Okay, so I'm going to try and do something crazy here. This is Canadian style engineering. I have a task at hand. I have a certain amount of parts available. These parts are probably inconceivably correct to pull off the job. There are pipes here. I could fail miserably. I only have these materials. What is the task at hand? Well, I was sitting, I was thinking, I need to create an overflow for this tank to overflow back into that brown barrel back there by that pipe. I need to overflow in there. So that's half the task. And then what I'm going to do to link this tank into the system here, that overflows the outflow, adding the water back into the barrels and back into the system. But I still have to get the water from the system into the tank at a reasonable rate, but I don't want it to be too fast. So, God, I've had hiccups today. Okay, I'm fighting it. How do I do that? How do I get the water from here into there, filling at a half decent rate, so that the overflow will kick in, if I can make it correctly, out of these materials on the floor somehow. And well, and I don't want to have to spend money, because I don't have money to spend right now, but I need to pull this off. Hence the materials on the floor. Just a bunch of who knows what's. This is, I think, from some kind of python. This is from a broken canister filter that I can't get new impellers for. It doesn't work well. I've already used the other tube. Send water up from the sump into that system. So various pipes of sizes of PVC, and I need to do this. So how am I going to get the water back up? Right? Well, here's my plan. Without spending money. Right now we have this Sun filter. This Sun filter is taking water in from this tank, and it's pumping it back into that tank through here. Now that tank's also receiving water through this pipe, through this black pipe there. It's falling down in there at a rate of 430 gallons per hour. So I'm going to take this pipe off, because it's got a fairly long amount of you know, I think it's long enough to get up here and pop here over the corner, start adding water, and then I want that water to overflow over my overflow, which I'm going to have to break up this somehow and get it coming out here, and it's going to overflow into the barrel. And I got to do that. So that's how the water is going to go in. And I need something that's going to handle, you can see the size of the pipe there is not too thick. So as long as I'm doing that or better, I should be able to get the water out. And that's my hope. That's my hope. Probably has to be twice the size of that, I think, is the recommended thing. So I'm not sure how I'm going to make this work. I'm probably just going to flood my basement, but maybe I'll come up with a gadget that's going to pull this off. And if it doesn't, then I'll go buy $10 worth of PVC and do it right. But for now, I'm going to try what I got. Let's see what I pull up. Okay, so I sat here. I said, well, self, what do we got? We got this little thing, and it looks like it has this on the end. Just pops off, and that's sort of like a nice sort of help the hose not get clogged sort of thing. You look at that. So I'm thinking if I put this on this, okay, and we get some kind of intake tube going on. This is fairly long, so I should be able to get that sort of hook you need. So this would come up to the top of the water, where I want the top of the water line to go, and the water would overflow into that. Then it would drop down and come back up into this tube, and then flow down into the barrel, essentially. This tube's probably not thick enough for this to work, but it might be. It might be. Because those suns don't pump very hard. It might be. It's a risk. I was just wasting a bunch of scrap anyway. So, let's sort of see what I'm doing here. It'll be like this. I'll go over the edge of the tank and lead out. This will go all the way down to the bottom of the tank. This will come up to the top of the tank. But then we got this floppy. How do we keep that stationary? Well, we got some PVC over here. So if I stick that in there, then I'll have a bend on the bottom. But then I could use one of these. Now that's probably too much of a right angle. Okay, give me a second. Well, here's what we're going to do. Holding a camera, trying to build a freaking thing. I'm going to put this through there. Okay, and then we're going to take this. We're going to stick this in here. And I think this way I can keep this. I'll have to cut it, but I can keep this. Use that to keep the pipe straight at a height that I want without it flopping around in the tank, right? Because it's got to be a surefire thing. And then we come out the bottom and just come back up and hang over the tank. And then I just need another pipe. I think I got some. You go from here to the barrel. And that should... Am I wrong? No. I would need to come down. Then it's just a siphon. Still just a siphon. So I need to come down and fill up another pipe. That has to come up, and I'm just not going to have enough joints and shit. That's what's going on here. I need some T-joints. I need at least one. Can I get around that somehow? I don't think I bought anything that could make me a T-joint. I'm held up right there. I'll think about it. I'll go on with this first part though. The first part's good. I'm gonna figure out something to make it overflow adequately. I might have some ideas. I don't know, we'll think about it.
Okay, so giving it some more thought, and because the pipe is going to be inside this pipe, if it overflows down into here, that means if the power gets cut off, the flow should just stop, because you can see what's going on. This is inside. This acts like a sleeve. I make this stick up out of the water. I have to seal off the bottom. Make that stick up out of the water, and then it'll fill up, and then it's going to overflow into this blue pipe through there. And then if everything shuts off, this pipe will stop filling and the flow will quit. Should just work fine, and then I can just put a pipe from here straight to the barrel. I think I have one of those somewhere. I have to go find it. I really hope I have one somewhere. Pipe straight from there into the barrel, and there should be an effective overflow, and I didn't have to spend a penny. And I put this in here. That's inflow. This is outflow. Mission accomplished. Use your head for free. Let's see if it works. And the concept continues to evolve. Here's some garden hose I'll use to exit into the barrel with from the pipe. I'm just going to have to silicone it here and seal this bottom up somehow. I'm going to come up with a way to seal that up. So I'm working on it. It's, I will dream something up for that next. We're getting there. Might just goop it up with silicone, call that a day, you know. But I'll come up with a strategy. Seal that up. This will be inside the tank anyway. Now I need the water to overflow and then stop up at the bottom here. And then fill back up and then overflow into this pipe and come back up. And that should work. That should work just fine. As long as, I guess I could break siphon on this side. Maybe I have to drop it down into a pipe on this side when it meets the barrel, so that it fills up that pipe and overflows out. So I'll probably put a pipe on this side of the hose, seal the bottom of it, stick it in the barrel, so we get that effect. Have it just sticking out and overflowing into the barrel. That's probably what I'll do. That should maintain siphon no matter what. Power shuts off, it should end flow. Power turns on, flow should reinitiate. So I still have to build something on this side. I have to figure out how long to cut this pipe. But we're getting there. Till the next clip. Okay, so progress. I've silicone this head on. Just gonna let water in. It's going to act kind of like a weir. It's going to fill up. I'm siliconing the base here. That'll be sealed at the bottom. You come up like this. That's good and sealed. Siliconed up that. Silicone the hose in to here. And I still have to glue on this top head. And I also have to put a piece across so it's halfway. The water line's going to go halfway and then spill into this, fill up the weir, and then spill down into this, come up here, check valve to take the air out, then it'll fall down this tube, and this is going to run right deep into the barrel. That should keep it all going, and this will set up over here. Should power cut out or whatever, should stop the tank from draining any further. That's the idea. And I'm going to suction cup this all along the walls to keep it all held in, and maybe tie this in at the top, and hopefully it all holds in right. And that's my overflow. That's going to be my overflow. Hopefully it just doesn't turn into a siphon, but it shouldn't, because it will be restricted here. I don't know. Let's see what happens. It might not work. It's what I have, and I want to see if it works. I think it will. Just a hunch, though. It might not. The hose might be too skinny. But we'll see. We will see. I think I've done it in a way that it's going to work. Gravity's going to help keep the siphon going. I made this part tall here. You'll see when it goes in. It comes up and then it'll start falling, and that falling action should be enough to keep things going. And then once the water stops, it stops. But once it starts overflowing again, I hope it kicks back in. I believe it will. So we're just going to finish up here and then let things dry. And we'll give her the old test run. And again, it's going to be getting pumped in by the Sun up here, and then overflowing back into the barrels. Barrels will put it back into the tank. That's how I'm going to link this tank into this system, using a bunch of stuff laying around in my basement and spending no money on a pump. Wish me luck. Everything is wet. I finished gluing, so here we go. This will stand up near the top of the water. Half of it is glued off, so it'll flow into there. And inside at this level is that thing I showed you earlier. It's, you know, standing up, so it's got to overflow. There's a little bit of water on top, and also this has to fill up, and then it'll overflow and go down into there. So that's going to stop me from that's going to stop my flow when the power goes out. Just that little design. Then we got that hose is up the middle. It's coming out the bottom here. I've got it all sealed up real nice. That's drying. Then it's going to run up the hose. It's going to go over the top of the tank, but the tank line is going to actually sit somewhere around here. Okay, the black rim of the tank, and this is going to stand well above it. And then I got a check valve to suck out the air, and then it's going to drop down here, take this right down deep into the barrel. So I don't need to put a sleeve on this side because the barrel is just a big sleeve, so that's not going to be an issue. If there was back siphon, the power went out, this will, you know, the water starts falling here and starts entering up here. So that'll stop, that'll keep my water level in my tank, first of all. Secondly, the overflow stops when the power cuts out. Thirdly, if there was back siphon, this would create air and stop the back siphon. So instead of having a big system that's got 6,000 miles of PVC pipe that I've watched on various YouTube videos, I'm just going to have one straight pipe with a hose sticking down the side of the tank with a hose going up and out of the tank. I think it's still, you know, a big ugly thing in the tank,
But instead of me having two U shapes, you know, like the other design is a U shape inside the tank and a U shape outside the tank. I'm just going to have this thing, and it's going to do everything I need perfectly. It can break siphon safely, I hope, and it should reestablish flow. Break siphon and reestablish flow after a power outage, exactly like all the rest of them do. And again, the inflow rate is going to be determined by the sun on it, and from what I can see, if you look over here, it's really not that powerful. So maybe 200 gallons an hour. I don't know. I'll look it up, but it's not going to be like 450 like the other side of things. And I believe, and I'm hoping that these hoses will handle that rate, and I think they will. I think they're going to do just fine. So we're going to find out. I really don't know what I'm doing. This is just me grabbing a bunch of crap I have in my basement and trying to come up with. I looked at a couple other ways, and then this is my way. This is how I've decided to try and do it. I think it's going to work. I think it's the same idea. I'm just using more hose than pipe, and I'm only using the pipe for the breaking siphon part, so it's not just a constant siphon. And this should achieve everything all the other overflows do. And when you see it set up, you'll see it's kind of clever. And this is, you know, I don't know what to call it, the Canadian version of redneck engineering. Just take what you got and make it work. That's what my whole fish room is. Take what I have, make it work. So there you go. Simple, elegant. It should fly. I have to wait at least 24 hours for this silicone to dry. Maybe a little longer. So we're going to end it here. Yeah, it's going to be a big long video when I stitch these together. But it's an interesting little project, and we'll see what happens tomorrow when I test it out. We'll see you then. Ciao for now.